shouldn't even have room to be talking about, oh, I'm not gonna give that up. Like, who even are you? Like, how do you expect actual change? And I'm talking to myself. How do you expect actual change if you're not willing to truly make a change? Man, I'm getting deep in some childhood traumas right now. What?
She's around, nothing else matters. Fight on someone else with wanna love you, girl, wanna love you, girl, wanna love you, girl, wanna love you, wanna love you, girl, wanna love you, girl, wanna love you, girl, wanna love you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jasmine, and today we're sitting down, we're chatting. I felt really compelled to film this video today because this has been something not struggling with or battling with, but just like tuning in and tapping into bettering my life, my situation, the things that are going on with me and the things that are going on with my family and just my career, my finances. Everything needs tweaking. And today what's in my heart is opening up about just like real life. Like, life be lifing, and social media really plays us mentally because we think like we should be on somebody's timeline, or we should be doing this because we're this age, or oh, you want to be this aspiring career, well, these are the things that you need to do. I don't think it's that black and white. And for me personally, I've reached a point where things need to change because 2022 was probably, I thought 2017 was a rough year for me. 2022 takes the cake. We're gonna be diving into some tough topics. I really love y'all and I love the support that you provide for me. So y'all know my number one goal on this channel is to help in whatever capacity that is, whether I'm helping you become a flight attendant or I'm helping you in the area of being a parent. And today is going to be sharing and opening up a little bit about my life in order to potentially help someone else out there who feels maybe just as lost as I do right now. And that's okay to be lost. It's okay to lose yourself. It's okay to not know who you are anymore. That's why God continues to show us grace. And I know for me, it takes a lot of grace for myself, especially when I'm looking at everything on the outside, social media and everybody else's expectations of me. I don't want to come off cliche and just give you guys basic like, oh, I want to save money because I want to be rich by the end of 2023, or oh, I need to go work out because all the girls are getting fit. Like, we're gonna dive deep into my 5 things that I'll be changing and the root of where they even came from and how they came about today and why I think that they will change my life. And if I can help somebody along the way or open somebody's heart and mind to, you know, want to do the same for themselves, or change somebody's mindset to consider like, dang, maybe I should change something too, or I'm looking for change in my life. Like, what are some things that I feel like I need to do different to attract that change? Then I mean, that'd be awesome. But get ready, we're going to get real personal. Before we do, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, give the video a big thumbs up, and let's get into my 5 things I'll be changing to hopefully change my life in 2023. So 2022 was probably one of the hardest years I've experienced so far. I thought that 2017 was a rough year. No, 2022 takes the cake. So much has changed. So much has changed for me financially. My family dynamic has completely changed, and my health has taken a turn. And I don't want to say like, oh, everything has changed for the worst or things are so horrible right now, because in truth, that's really not the case. Although things are different, it doesn't necessarily mean things are bad. Change can be good. We are energy beings that are always changing constantly, and I want to change constantly, which is why I even put thought in the first place to things I want to do to change my life, because I want to promote change in my life. I want to be growing. I want to constantly be feeding myself new information or changing certain things that maybe aren't working, or even opening my mind to knowing when things need to change, or knowing when I want certain outcomes. Something that I really struggled with in 2022 was the expectations of everything and everyone around me. I noticed that I was becoming just really locked into what everyone was doing on social media. I was creating these unrealistic goals and all of these expectations of myself based on the people I follow on my Instagram or my YouTube channel, or knowing I want to be this, knowing I aspire to be this great big YouTuber with millions of followers and people who would go to bat for me and really support me in my life and my family and my channel. But like, to what extent or why do I want that? There are questions still right now that I don't have the answer to. And although I'm giving 5 things I want to change, there's plenty more things that I am taking into account in this next year. So many expectations I put on myself in 2022, and at the end of 2022, none of those goals that I made in the beginning of the year, none of those expectations that I set for myself, none of them. Maybe I'll have to really sit down and think about it, y'all, but like, for real, it was so easy to feel like a failure when 2022 ended, because I had visions of how I wanted my life to be when Nova turned 5. I had visions of where I wanted her to go to school when she turned 5. I had visions of even what her 5th birthday would be, and none of those met my expectations. I had expectations for where my channel was gonna be by the end of 2022. That didn't unfold. I had visions of my fitness goals in 2022. Nothing, those were worse than what they were when I started. So it's like, I had to stop and really think. It was so easy to feel like a failure at the end of 2022. I used to deal with really bad like mental health and depression and seasonal depression, but my seasonal depression is in the summertime. That's really taboo for most people who say that their seasonal depressions are in the cold seasons. But me personally, my seasonal depression comes in the summers. Over the years, ever since I gave birth to Nova, I have been actively working on my mental health in different ways that I can overcome moments when I feel depressed or when I feel down. I do feel proud of my journey in my mental space, because without that, and I can dive into that in like a different video if anybody's interested, but as a precursor, because of that, I feel like I was able to not be so hard on myself when 2022 ended, because there was a lot to be sad about. There was a lot to be discouraged about, and I think that I was able to really pivot and reframe my mind from, okay, that's okay. We got another year to strive for better. We have another year to change our tactics and what we're gonna do to overcome and maybe reach new goals this year. But I can't do that without changing things that I'm doing. You're always gonna get the same result if you're making the same if you're taking the same actions, if you're doing the same things. Diving into the first one is a relationship with God. I specifically wrote down carving out time to cultivate a relationship with God. And what I mean by that is, I've always had a very surface level relationship with God. Like, oh, I'll pray here and there, or yeah, I really believe, or I'll listen to a sermon here and there, or I'll turn on some Christian music here and there when I'm feeling it in my spirit. But I don't have true obedience when it comes to God and what He wants for my life. And so that struck me as number 1, right? So like, how can I want all these changes? Well, maybe the things that I want for myself aren't happening because they're not what God wants for me. And so once I realized that, I decided, you know what? I'm gonna take time to actually make time for a relationship with God. That's studying the Word. That's opening myself up to this time. You know what? I can't go out right now because at this hour I pray and I meditate. Like, that's how serious I'm getting when I'm saying cultivating time to spend with God, because I don't know what God's voice here sounds like. I don't know what it sounds like for God to say move. And I want that. I desire that so badly that I think that's attributing to a lot of the reason why I feel so lost. Lately, a conversation that continues to come up, like just some like random people, right? I'll be talking to my sister or a friend or whatever, or somebody will say it on a video that I'm watching, but like, I want what God wants for me. Like, I want to truly surrender all my desires. And I know that sounds crazy, and some people really believe like, oh, well, I desire it, that means God put it in my head, that means I should go for it, right? Well, to me, what I'm learning is not necessarily, because 6 months ago, I would have said that exact same thing and truly believed that in my heart, that like, oh no, I don't want these things for no reason. God put that in my head, so yeah, we gonna go for it. But like, did he? Did you hear him say that? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that sounds like. So I continue to have this conversation about like contentment and like what it means to truly surrender and accept what God wants for you, and so much more will come into your life. And I want to bear witness to that. And so I don't think that I can bear witness to any of that or really hear God's voice, because everything else, I'm allowing everything else to come into my mind, come into my heart, and just kind of basically write my story for me. I'm trying to be the author of my life, and I don't want to be. I want God to be. I want him to be. You know what I mean? So with that, I feel too, it's easy to feel when with my relationship not being so strong with God, I do feel like it was easy to be upset with him about where I ended up in 2022. I thought that I wanted so bad this perfect little family and this picture perfect life and this aesthetically pleasing like vision of what my life is. But like, at the end of the day, if you have to force that and cultivate it yourself, is it really who you are? And I do feel like that is a lot of what I was doing 2022 and prior, because it became too much to keep up with what I was trying to portray. Like, just flat out, like, that's just the truth. Like, and so now I feel like, I mean, I'm being humbled. Is that like kind of what I want to say? I don't know if it's I'm being humbled, but maybe I'm taking a step back to listen and to learn and to be real with myself. Like, is this really who you are? Like, now look at what your life has turned into, right? I feel like there's a lot I could be mad at God for, but I am choosing not to be, because that ain't his fault. I ain't been listening. So how can I be mad at him when I can't even hear what he's saying to me, or have conviction on my heart for some of the things that there were a lot of times in 2022 where I had conviction about a lot of things, but I chose not to hear that. I chose to go with the flow of what I wanted, and just like, no, that's all right. That's not the outcome I'm gonna allow. Let me keep going on this path, because this is me thinking this is what's gonna get me where I want to be. When ultimately, as I've learned, that's not the truth. So now I'm ready to just like surrender. Like, God, I'm here. I want to be obedient. I want to do the right things, or whatever. I want to be obedient to God's word. Like, how can I expect God? My sister said the other day, you can't, like, how can you, just in a general sense, not really directed at me, but she was like, you can't expect God to give you $5 when he knows you're going to burn it. So like, a lot of the issues I struggled with were finances in 2022. And then I look at my actions and I'm like, well, dang, how could I expect my financial situation to change when I'm doing X, Y, and Z? You see what I'm saying? So not being obedient is number one. Like, I'm not listening to what God is telling me to do. As of right now, my relationship with him is non-existent. Like, if I'm just being honest and transparent, I don't sit and make time for him. I'll pray in the shower, I'll pray in the car, but that's when it's convenient to me. And I know that the relationship doesn't work like that, but I haven't been obedient, and I haven't been willing to set aside time, actual dedicated time, for that in my relationship. So I think that is an important reason on why cultivating a relationship with God is like number one on my 5 things that I want to change for 2023, because I know that once I surrender and once I truly like am able to practice hearing the voice of God and his direction, I do think that I will be living a more clear path of like what my life is is to be, what's my purpose in life? And I do think you can have multiple purposes in life, but like, what is God trying to tell me? I can hear him, so I know I need to pivot. Like truly believing the quote, like, oh, if it's for me, it's for me. Like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But yeah, that comes with being obedient. That comes with truly listening to God and not just going on my own path because I think that's what I want to do. So I feel like at this point I'm talking in circles, but to some extent I hope that some of that was understandable and you kind of get my drift. And for any of those, and I do open my comments to people who are faith driven and who could share some insight for me on like what your journey was when it comes to your relationship with God and how it changed your life. And I think at the end of the day, I want God to shine through me. I want to be a speaker of the Lord to other people. I want to be able to be a voice. I want others to see God's work through my life. And I can't let that won't happen if I'm not open to him and open to really creating a relationship with him. So that's number one. Let's get into number two. I put as number two, saving money. And saving money is it's just so much bigger than just saving money. I touched a lot of money in 2022. And here now, in January of 2023, I don't have anything to show for it. And that's as real and raw as y'all is this finna get, okay? Because I have been so disappointed in myself over the past maybe 2 months of just like how things have turned out for me. But I'm starting to look myself in the mirror and be real with myself about my habits and about my work ethic and about my view of money here in the past. And I think that until you're able to really look yourself in the mirror, a lot of those things won't change. And here's what, in using my life and my situation as an example, I think I'll be able to really make this real for a lot of y'all that are watching. I had the blessing of being able to move me and Nova to my mom's house. And through that, my mom and I were talking, and mind you, this was a few months ago. We've been here for a little while now. But my mom and I were talking about, okay, so the whole purpose of this is for you to come out financially strong, right? Thank God for my mom and thank God for some guidance and just such a good family structure to be able to guide me and share wisdom, you know, on this next journey of my life, right? So I was talking to my mom and I told her, you know, we were just talking about my budgeting, right? And how much money am I gonna save every month and blah, 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 right? And I remember telling her, yeah, but one thing I'm not willing to give up is my nails. Like, girl, how do you expect to make avid change if you can't even like lay low for X amount of time? And when I say lay low, I mean just like give up the frivolous things in life. Like I care a lot about my nails. These are my real nails. Like this is just an example, right? I care about my real nails. I was willing to give up the lashes. I'm willing to give up getting my hair done. But like I said, my nails, I'm just not willing to give up. But like looking at the financial situation that I'm in, I shouldn't even have room to be talking about, oh, I'm not gonna give that up. Like, who even are you? Like, how do you expect actual change? And I'm talking to myself. How do you expect actual change if you're not willing to truly make a change? I've opened my eyes to seeing the value of, you know what? Stay down for 6 months, stay down for a year and see what happens. But like, this was just an example of like my mindset when I first got here. It was very prideful, very like, oh no, I'm only gonna be here for 6 months. You know, oh, I'll be able to still get my nails done every month, like, cause that's what's important to me. That's what I want. But like, is that more important than coming out of this better than I came in? If I'm not truly surrendering to the process, then how can I expect actual change? And these are conversations that I continuously have with myself every day, because it's not just oh, I've come to this decision and now I'm good. Like, the changes I'm trying to make are gonna take actual practice. They're gonna take strong will and obedience and discipline, and those are things that I just don't have right now, but those are things I'm trying to gain again. I think that a big thing that will help me to change my life financially and save 10K by the end of the year, or whatever my goal is, right? That was just an example, but whatever my goal is, I have to lay it all out there. I have to be real with myself about my spending habits and actually saving my money and actually taking my butt to work. Like, I'll take any advantage to not show up for myself, or to not show up for an opportunity to make some money. And like, that's so backwards for someone who is in a situation that they need every penny they can get. So some of the things I'm doing to actively save money and achieve this goal change of mine is to make sure I'm eating at home. Like, girl, did y'all know that if you go and buy cold brew at the grocery store, it's $6 or something, $7, but I get an iced coffee at Starbucks and it's $7 alone? Like, over and over and over, I used to spend my last on just dumb stuff, like food. Like, I could be eating at home. You got clothes in your closet, you need to wear them. You don't have to purchase a new outfit every time you go out, or just things like that add up. But to me, they were so valuable because of what? I'm trying to film this cute video. I need to make sure I have Starbucks in my hand, or I need something to do in my video, so I'm gonna drive to Starbucks and we're gonna chat in the car. Like, that is just so dumb. Now, like, thinking about it and just really analyzing my actions and my habits, how do I expect things to change? It took time for me to really think about the things that I was doing in the past to know what I needed to change for the future. And if I didn't look myself in the mirror and be real with my decisions that I did make and not be hard on myself, I show myself so much grace, but I only show myself grace in the sense of like, okay, you know what you did wrong, now it's time to take accountability and change those habits. So yes, you might not be able to hang out with your friends for the next 6 months, but it's gonna be so much more worth it in the end because of the end goal. Like, what are putting my goals in the forefront instead of the immediate gratification of going out, or how good it feels to purchase food or go out to eat with me and Nova, or meet up a friend for lunch at Bar Taco. Although that feels so good in that moment, it doesn't when I sit back and I get in my car and I'm like, dang, that's $20 less I got in my account. Like, dang, I'm a struggle next week when it comes to, oh dang, I just took out of my gas money budget so that I could do X, Y, and Z. Like, those habits aren't healthy, and thank God that I am opening my mind and my eyes to see those habits and to make active change. But like, just being real with y'all, these are some of the things that I used to do. And so if you find yourself in those same habits, like, really just, it's okay. It's okay, but now it's time to make the change. Like, because nothing's gonna get better if I'm always gonna continue to get the same outcome if I'm constantly making the same actions. And I know I'm sounding super repetitive in this video, but oh my gosh, it's so real. That is number 2 on my list of things. And the last thing I want to say about this topic of saving money is that I also lived in a very oh, money will come back. Like, it's one thing to live from an abundance mindset, right? Like, of course, I mean, money flows to me easily. I have a good relationship with money. Money comes right back to me. I spend it and I get 20 times back. But like, that's also living in a state of delusion. And I think that I was doing too much delusion in the past, that I solely betted on that. Like, whatever, I'll spend my last $100, it's cool, I get paid Friday. Like, that is so unhealthy for someone who is trying to save money. You can't say you're trying to save money, but you'll spend your last $100 on frivolous things. I do think that in 2023, I I don't believe in 2023 I'm in a position to live in a mindset of spend a check and get it right back, because I'm barely getting a check. Like, girl. I cannot continue living like that, or I will never see change in my life. Like, that is such, living in an abundance, and it's a fine line, because I don't want to live from a place of lack, and I don't want to be frugal, or I never want to do anything for myself for the next 6 months. I never want to do anything for myself again because I got to save my money. That, to me, I think that's unhealthy. You should reap the benefit of what you sow and the hard work that you put in to earn your money. But if I'm being real with myself, I haven't been working hard. I haven't been saving my money. So I don't have room right now to live a mindset of, okay, I'll spend this because I know it'll come back. So I'm allowing myself 6 months to a year to be disciplined, to be obedient, and to take my finances seriously, because I don't have room. If I want to be where I want to be in 30 years, or if I want to be successful and have money in the bank in a few years, I have to make changes, and I have to be willing to have seasons where I might not be spending as much, and that is okay. Don't let social media and everything else make you feel like you gotta spend your coin, you gotta get this cool thing because everybody else has it. Oh, if you're a content creator, oh, your content's not fun because you're not out at freaking Target every other week buying things that you know you don't need. Like, get real with yourself. And I'm talking to myself. I know I'm saying yourself like you, but everything is directed at myself. I'm just sharing it with y'all on camera. But like, get real with yourself and buckle down. It's okay to have low seasons, because not every season is gonna be like spin, lit, out with my friends, taking Nova out the country. Like, it's not gonna be like that all the time. And so I'm definitely trying to find that balance of being okay with the low moments of, and not low as in negative, but like lay low moments. We stacking the bread, we working on ourselves, we're meditating, we're praying, we're cultivating relationships with ourselves. And then when it's time to pop out, we can pop out. But it will come from a place of change. I'm humble. I'm doing this because I truly deserve it, not because I just want to do it and I want to post about it. You see what I'm saying? So those are the demons I'm fighting. And that is reasons why saving my money and being financially stable is number 2 on my list. Dang, this video might be a lot longer than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. Good content. Okay, so number 3, putting myself back on a routine. The reason that this is something that's really important to me is because I bear witness of it within my own child. So if anybody's new to my channel, I have a 5-year-old. Her name is Nova, and she's just the cutest little, smartest little, just big ball of personality and energy. Like, just literally a gift from God. And although she's great, although she's extremely forward and way ahead of her age range and just super intelligent, so bright, there are times she reminds me that she's a 5-year-old. And those times are always when things change within our routine. So being that recently, now getting a little transparent, being that we have moved recently and have come, to spend some time with my mom, I noticed that her behavior definitely took a turn. And even before this move, right? Even back at our old spot, I noticed that when we fell off of Nova's routine, her behavior took a turn for the worst. And I noticed that anytime I get Nova back on her routine, and I mean strict routine, like, okay, dinner is at this time, we know after dinner we go take a shower, we know after our shower we play for 15-20 minutes, we go and we brush our teeth, we come back into bed, we read a book, and then we go to bed. I have noticed that keeping her on a strict routine helps tremendously with her behavior. And so when I look at that as an example, I think about myself and I revert back to adolescence. First of all, what's the reason that I want a routine? It's because I want to be more disciplined. It's because I want to be more productive throughout my day. I want to be able to make time for the things I value without making excuses for why they haven't been done. And so I think that those reasons are like equivalent to like the behavior of a child. So when you have a good routine for a child and they're used to structure and knowing how things go, you can expect them to come in and have their listening ears on, to put their shoes away where they belong. And of course, kids are kids. They're gonna have their days where they fall short, and that's okay. Just like I'll have my days where I fall short. One thing I learned, actually Dimitri showed me this. A girl on TikTok mentioned something about it. He told me that she has her high energy routine and her low energy routine. Not every day is gonna be a high energy day, okay? And that's something you have to just accept straight out the bat. But you have to have some type of level, some base level of expectation when it comes to your routines and the things that you value. Like her example in the video was washing her face. She said that on her high energy days, she does all of her routines. She does every single, step in her skincare, right? But on her low energy days, she just uses a makeup wipe and goes to bed. And I took so much value from that little example, because what I struggled with in the past was having all these strict, high demanding, high energy routines, but I was falling short because I felt down on myself when I couldn't complete them 100%. I felt like I was falling short. I felt negative about myself. And then that puts me in this horrible cycle of not wanting to do them at all. Okay, so my camera overheated and I needed to let it cool off. So that definitely means I'm just talking way too much, but I think I was saying that solidifying a routine for myself, I do really think that it will be beneficial, because there are a lot of things that I want to accomplish in this year. And because that I was just so willy-nilly in 2022, thinking that, oh, I could just do things when I wanted to, or just like not really taking like my routine seriously. I had no true plan on how to achieve my goals last year. And I think that's a big reason why I didn't achieve most of them, and most of them fell very short. The way that I plan on changing in 2020, I had a really good year, because that was like the year of the pandemic, and that was the year that we were all like on lockdown. And surprisingly enough, that was the year that I held myself to a routine, because I was home. I didn't have to worry about my career and how flip-floppy it was for about a 3-month time span. I was able to have a routine and actually follow that routine. Back then, the routine was like hour by hour. I had a structure for everything I was doing within that hour. I had the mindset that, okay, if I'm not doing something in this hour, like that's not good. I need to be doing something in every hour of the day. Now this year I don't plan on taking my routine that strenuous this time around, especially because of my line of work. It is just not possible for me to have every Sunday as a reset day, or have every Sunday as my house cleaning day, or every Sunday as my hair wash day, right? Like that's unrealistic for someone who is a flight attendant, or for any job that doesn't follow the same routine every week. But my routine will more so look like, okay, once a week I will have my cleaning day. Once a week I'll make sure I have a full self-care day where I'm washing my hair, deep conditioning, facial mask, body exfoliation, like all those things. I'll dedicate a day to that. And so what that looks like is proper planning, right? So within that routine comes not just the day-to-day routine that I plan on structuring for myself, but also the monthly routines, right? So I've vowed myself to posting a monthly plan and prep, right? So in that monthly plan and prep, I already have my work schedule, right? So I can plan each week out based on what my schedule will be for that month. So there are ways, even if you don't let your inconsistent career determine how consistent you can be within your own personal routines, there are ways around it. You just need to actually buckle down and take those things seriously. And that is the mindset and the frame that I'm gonna have. I'm gonna stop making excuses because all of 2022, that's what I did. excuses after excuses after excuses. Oh, I didn't do this because of this, or oh, I'll wait till the new year to start working out, which we'll get into in one of my next things. And so yeah, that is pretty much my plan when it comes to number 3 of putting myself back on a routine. And I think what's important too that will help me be successful in this step is allowing grace and ease in my routine, and like completely opposite of my 2020 routine where I was so strict on myself. 2022 will be more of like a, okay, I start my day at the same time every day that I'm able to, like being home and stuff. I make sure that I work out every day. I make sure that I do X, Y, and Z. I make sure that my morning routine is being completed, but what does that look like in the intricacy of it, right? So like maybe this morning I want to meditate. Every day I make sure I pray, but maybe this morning I want to read a book after prayer. Actually, every day I want to pray and meditate. But maybe after that, instead of having coffee, I'll do tea this morning. Or instead of doing yoga, I'll read a book this morning. So leaving room for me to switch things up, but still showing up for myself like I said I was gonna do. Does that make sense? So I am still working through, like, full transparency, I have not locked down my routine yet. It is January 12th and I still haven't locked down my routine, and I'm showing myself some grace because I know, like, okay, I'm leaving room for figuring out what works for me, but knowing that, okay, the end goal is we need to solidify a routine. But like what that looks like, I'm allowing myself to, like, okay, let's go with this and see how this works for me, right? It's all about trial and error. I can't base my routine on, back to the social media thing, I can't base my routine off of the girlies I'm watching on TikTok and YouTube. Like, it's just unrealistic. I can try some of the things that they're doing, but take all of that with a grain of salt. When it comes to you and your life, what is your truth? What makes you happy? What's gonna help you thrive and survive in this ever-changing, always moving world, right? So show yourself some grace, because I'm showing myself some grace when it comes to these new things that I am implementing. But at the same time, don't let, oh, I'm showing myself grace, be an excuse for like not doing it. You see what I'm saying? So that's number 3 for me. Let's dive into number 4, which is going to be getting active. Getting active, girl. Okay, we gonna talk about it. So I wrote down as number 4, just simply getting active, but there's so much more that goes into that, right? So like really thinking about, okay, like why, Jazz? Why do you want to be active? Do you just want to be skinny? Do you just want to lose weight? Do you just want to this, that, and the third? Yes. Yes, I want that, but I want so much more. Getting active for me is about feeling good. Getting a sweat in every day. I started going back to the gym a little bit before the new year, and I just forgot how good it felt to sweat. But I noticed that I find myself getting into these expectations again of like, no, you need to work out hard. Going to the gym just for cardio isn't enough. You need to be lifting weights. And girl, if you're not there, it's okay. So I've been really taking it easy and letting the goal just be to be active for at least 30 minutes a day, whether that's me and Nova outside riding the bike, taking a walk, going all the way down to there's a park across the street. Like, even if that's what it is, as long as I'm getting a little sweat on, like that's my goal. Like, because I have such a toxic habit of putting all these expectations on myself that aren't realistic for someone who's trying to get back into the swing of things. Now, do I want to have weight loss goals in the end and have a certain and look a certain way by the end of the year? Yes. However, you have to have the smaller goals to get to the bigger goals. If I have those big goals, but truly focus more on those smaller goals that'll get me there, I think that I will find myself being more successful and feeling more accomplished. And so right now, it's not about losing weight. Although I know I need to lose weight because I am pushing diabetes full transparency, I went to the doctor and had a full like blood work thing done, and I'm like points away from being pre-diabetic, so that obviously is not a good thing. So of course that's gonna promote me to want to work out more, but like there is so much more than that. It's about wanting to feel good. It's about what being physical does to my mind. I feel like I'm a lot more sharper. I feel a lot more like just more, I feel more energized to tackle more things throughout my day. I know for a fact that if I don't go to the gym in the morning, the likelihood of me going to the gym later in the evening is slim to none. But the only reason I know that is because I looked at myself in the mirror and had to face that. I had to understand, okay, what works for me? What ways am I gonna make sure that I'm getting in the gym, even if it's 30 minutes on a treadmill? Those are the ways I plan on getting active. I mean, taking a hike, taking a walk, doing yoga in my living room. Right now, my thing is 12-3-30. I know all the girlies are doing it, but it's super effective, and I sweat hard. Okay, I sweat hard, and I show it. Look, and I had to eliminate the shame that I felt at first of going into the gym, doing 12-3-30, putting my jacket back on and leaving. Like, if that's what's enough for me right now, then I fully accept that, and I welcome it with open arms, right? Like, I have to meet myself where I'm at with the intentions of eventually, you know, adding more to that. But like, if that's where I am right now, it's okay. Whose standards am I trying to meet? You know what I'm saying? So getting active had to be on my top 5 of things I want to change in the 2023 year, because I mean, I was just, I can't even recall the last time that I was active all of 2022. Like, it was very rare. It was something that I struggled with, I battled with. For a long time, I let my keloid be the reason that I didn't work out. And I was just like making all these type of excuses. Whereas, yeah, I felt really crappy about myself when I had that keloid on my ear. But like, even after I got it removed, yeah, I did Pilates here and there, but like, I was doing stuff that was like what everybody else was doing, and I didn't take the time to figure out, okay, what do I need? What do I want to do? And so now that I'm opening myself up for that, I feel a lot more confident in achieving some of these goals for the 2023 year. And when it comes to getting active, I just can't listen to and view other people's expectations, and yeah, I can take other people's advice, but definitely with a grain of salt, because it's my life. Like, if 30 minutes on the treadmill is what I can give to myself today, then great. But if I show up to the gym tomorrow and I want to go hit some of the other machines, like, I'll gladly do that. You know what I'm saying? But it's all about setting that initial intention, and then allowing it to grow from there, but making sure I at least show up for that, because I have a horrible habit of saying I'm gonna do something and then completely just not doing it. And so that is like the main thing I'm trying to get myself out of, and I think that my approach is really going to help me do better and not be so toxic when it comes to the things I say I'm gonna do. So moving on to number 5, and that is, I kind of loosely wrote this one, but it's more so about taking time to stop, think, and listen to me, myself, and what it is I need in my life to be happy, successful. Let's see, what did I actually write? Taking time to stop and listen to myself. Plain and simple, that's what I wrote down. Let's dive into it. This being number 5 on my list, and the last thing that I'll talk about for things I think that will help me change my life in 2023, is taking time to stop and listen to myself. And when I say that, I mean in the sense of, like, earlier I mentioned that I really feel just lost. I feel like I don't know who I am. I feel like I don't know what it is that I actually want in my life anymore. I feel like I've been moving with energy of what I think I'm supposed to be doing, not because I actually want to be doing it, or whatever the case may be, or like feeling lost because the goals that I've been setting for myself or the things that I desire in life just haven't been coming to me, no matter what I do to try to achieve them. Something that's really interesting about me is that growing up, I do feel like I always did things because other people were doing them. I did them because they were the cool thing to do. And I never really did something, I never really strayed from the path of like what everybody else was doing. As long as I fit in to what everybody else is doing, I'm good. I was so afraid of standing out. Even when it comes to like my family dynamic, like I'm categorized as like the goofy one, or like the silly one, that even though those were a lot of the characteristics that I had growing up, like now as an adult, like I don't want to be identified as that. Like I don't want the identification of what everyone else thinks that I am, because I don't really think that I am that anymore. Or like, for example, I've always been afraid to stray away from the idea of what everybody else likes. Something I think that like really eats me up from my childhood is like growing up being bigger size. I was always the chunky one. Some would call me fat. Like, it is what it is. So with that already being a characteristic of mine, I didn't also want to be the one who maybe wanted to play hopscotch instead of Foursquare. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I'll play Foursquare because everybody else is playing Foursquare. I don't need another reason for people to single me out. Like, oh, she got baseball back calf legs. Like her legs and calves look like baseball bats. Well, shoot, let me wear pants every day so no one has to see my legs. Like, not because I want to wear pants every day, but because I'm afraid to be talked about in another capacity. So let me just do what everybody else is doing. Let me become a cheerleader because, man, I'm getting deep in some childhood traumas right now. What? But let me be a cheerleader because, my friend circle is a cheerleader. I won't have any friends unless I'm a cheerleader. Or I need something to stand out and to be cool and to fit in. Like, did I do those things because I wanted to feel a part of something? Like, I need to see a therapist, but I really don't know. Like, were those things I truly desired? Because I was so easy to give them up by the time I reached college or whatever the case may be. So I've really been really breaking myself open and just finding those traumas and those, what are they called? Like, those limiting beliefs about myself, and opening those up, finding out what those are, and like, how can I release those from my life and then truly move forward with the person that I want to be as an adult. Or another example, when I say take time to really listen to myself, I find that when I have conversations with other people, I'm very much of a responder. I'm the type of conversationalist, is that a word? That like, I'm always like, yeah, or I try to finish your sentence for you to let you know that I'm listening or let you know that I relate. But I don't want to be that anymore. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to listen, and then I want to stop and think about my response before I answer you back or before I open my mouth to give you an opinion. I want to ask you, would you like my opinion? And then share what it is that I might feel or what might work for me. So I think that it seems like a weird thing to put into my top 5, but ultimately, like, I am just really striving for personal development, self-growth, and tuning into like myself and my habits that I might not like about myself. It's important to crack those open and, again, look yourself in the mirror. Like, how can I expect to change? I need to break down every barrier of myself and my habits and my limiting beliefs and just everything. Like, everything is connected, in my opinion, and I just feel like it wouldn't be right to have this list of things without also having one of those aspects be about like me internally. And so I think it's important for me to listen to what Jazz wants. What do you want, girl? Do you really like coffee? Or do you just like coffee because everybody else likes coffee? Or like, do you really want to be a content creator? Or do you feel like are you really good at this? I do really think I'm good at it. I love it. I have a real passion for it. But there's just like things like that, like taking time to analyze everything, even the things that I think I'm sure about. It's important for me to take the time to stop, think, and decide, like, who do I want to be, and then really show up as her. And that is like, I mean, that seals it up right there. That is just, oh, I just can't wait to see who I come out to be at the end of this and at the end of 2023. And somebody said something to me, I can't remember who it was, so sorry person if you're watching and you're someone who said it to me, but someone said, I think, was it Nia? I don't know. You've always known who you are. It's just a matter of finding that person again and letting that person be. Because over the years, so many people have tumbled and tumbled and tumbled on you, put their beliefs on you, put their expectations on you. And like, now I'm an adult. Now I feel like I have the floor, space, and opportunity to break those barriers, break those boundaries, and just be who I want to be. And it's okay for you to pivot your life. It's okay for you to make changes about who you want to be and what values you take seriously and what things you don't value anymore. But at the end of the day, I think it's important that everyone have a moment in their life when they do that. And like, thank God I'm doing it now at 26, because I don't want to be 45 not knowing who I am. I mean, who knows? I might have another life revelation then too. But like, I think that mostly, even though a lot of the things I said could be deemed bad or like negative, or somebody feel really down about themselves, about the things that I may have mentioned that you might also be going through, don't. I'm here to tell you, like, don't feel bad about yourself. Use it as an opportunity to grow and shine and find your light so that you can shine through. We all have a voice. It's just a matter of finding that voice again and letting it be heard. So I'm gonna end this video here because my camera keeps freaking overheating. So I really enjoyed sitting down and talking to you guys and, you know, just having a moment of vulnerability with you. And I hope that this, you know, maybe inspired somebody to look themselves in the mirror. And if you're not at that point in life, more power to you, sis or bro. And I hope that life continues to be good for you all. And yeah, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, bro, it's real love over here. Love y'all so hard. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you next Thursday for another video. Bye.